What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Pancis. If it's your first time tuning in, please be sure to smash the subscribe button. If not, thanks for your continued support. Today we are with my 2004 Saab 9.5. If you guys haven't been following this channel for the last 3 years, this car came to us in 2020, September 9th, 2020, with 195,000 miles on it. We have currently almost 260,000 miles. So this is 3 years, 65,000 miles, and we're doing another major update for you in this video, so please be sure to stay tuned. Let's rock into it. Alright guys, I forgot my GoPro, so I'm going to be just giving you some updates before we do the macro big video on this. But obviously we got some rust on the Saab. It's got 260,000 miles on it. This has been an ongoing thing for the last like 3 years that we've owned the car. So I've actually gone ahead, took off the inside. You guys can see I've already grinded back a lot of the rusted out metal. I took out a lot of it and I put some rust converter on there. You guys can see it turning black. And then over here, I did the same thing on the back where we're causing a lot of the issue to bubble up there on the car itself. So once this dries, I'm going to treat it with an actual spray. I'll treat it with an actual spray, and then I will from there go ahead and throw some fiberglass on there. I mean, it needs metal work, but I don't really want to spend the money right now on the car to do the metal work. So we're just going to kind of cut out a lot of the rusted metal, convert it, protect it, and then go over it, like I said, with some fiberglass. So it should hopefully keep water from going into the car or into the other rusted areas. That's the hope, at least. You guys can see I did the dog legs over here, and that actually held up quite nice, that repair. So I'm really thinking that if I do the same thing here like I did here, you know, the rust hasn't really spread there, so that was a good thing. Not the right repair, but for what we're doing with 260,000 miles on it, should help. The subframe itself looks pretty good here. The only thing I would say that probably needs to be pulled is these lower control arms. Maybe I'll replace those next spring after the winter and just do a whole thing of fresh bushings with that. Like I said, the subframe looks good itself. So I'm just gonna leave that all intact for now. There's some rust there, but not a crazy amount, as bad as it is here. So we're gonna take care of that and take care of this. You guys can see how it turned black already. This was all really bad earlier. So I'm taking the lights out. I'm gonna try to actually fix this dent. Somebody borrowed the car and dented the car, and it sucks. So I'm gonna try to repair it since we're here fixing everything, and keep you guys updated. All right guys, so update for you. Got a lot of that dent out on the bumper. Painted some of the rust under the molding there. And you guys can see I painted this here. I'm gonna let it all dry. There's a hole there, but I'm gonna put some fiberglass behind it once we're ready to finish this job up, and maybe do another coat of that rust. I bought this stuff here last year, and it's been sitting in the garage, called POR 15. This stuff, I hear when it dries, it's like hard as a rock. So what you do is you shave down the metal, what we've done, and then clean it, which we've done, and then you go ahead and put a coat of it like you guys can see here, and it dries extremely hard. So once this is completely settled in, we weren't fully rusted through on this metal, as you guys saw earlier. I mean, big portions of this wasn't through, so that was kind of a good thing. I feel like this car was down in Florida a long part of its life before it was in the Northeast. I don't remember the history, but anyway, so I'm gonna let this dry probably overnight, and then I'll come back at another time this weekend with my GoPro. And then what we'll do is we'll fiberglass this in, paint it, and wrap it up, because it looks like it's in decent shape here. So, yep, we did that paint all underneath, including underneath here. A lot of the area, the wheel well we got there, some rust. You know, it literally just says to paint over the rust, so that's what we've done. Alright guys, so we're on the driver's side here. And you can see some of this is a little rusted out. So we're gonna do the same thing on this side. as we did on the other side. Luckily there's no rusting, isn't too bad here. It's not coming through, so we'll correct that and fix it before it gets through the paint. So it is the next day here, but I just showed you guys some clips that I took yesterday. I forgot my GoPro, but you guys can see we put some POR 15. I grinded down the metal and some of the rust areas, got rid of all of the loose paint, loose metal, and just kind of brought it down to like a bare metal, cleaned it up, put some POR on there. Luckily this car isn't that bad. To be honest, it seems really worse than it really is. It's not that bad. There was like maybe like 2 spots where the metal rusted all the way through, but the rest of it was perfectly fine. So it's really not that terrible. I mean, I've seen pictures online of these things being in much, much worse condition. I think this side is worse than the other side, but I mean, we are freaking solid on here, guys. Really, we really are. So we're gonna go ahead now and we're gonna clean this up. I'm gonna actually put some body filler in on some of the areas that were weak, like right here, and just seal it up again. This here, this rust area, you guys can see we got it treated on both sides for the rust, and then we're gonna go ahead and, you know, fill this in with body filler as well. It's not gonna be perfect, but hopefully it stops it from further rust. So let's get into this, guys. All right, so since this has a hole here, guys, and here, I did buy some metal patches to reinforce this. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut a piece out for this little area and actually patch it from behind, and then what I will do is fill from the top. So it's gonna have reinforcement from behind here, which is all messed up, and then I'm gonna go ahead and fill it in so it's nice and smooth on the outside. And since we have it all POR 15 sealed, we should have hopefully no more rust coming through. All right, guys, there you have it on the back side. 2 little pieces here to fill it in, and we'll get the filler going now. All right, guys, it is the next day here. It was really hard to kind of film all of the fiberglass yesterday, so I just kind of did it off camera, but you guys can see here on the outside, I fiberglassed on the inside with some support to protect this metal from getting weak, and then we put some body filler here on the front, and then I'm gonna finish that off today with a final putty. But inside, you guys can see we fiberglassed everything. Even on top here there was some fiberglassing. There's the patch on the back side. You know, everything's looking nice. Again, this metal here, the original metal, guys, really honestly, when I was as you guys saw in the earlier clips of this video, it didn't rust all the way through. I've seen cars much worse than this one. Excuse me. So I mean, some of you guys may say that this isn't the proper repair work, you have to cut out some of this old metal, but to be fair, it wasn't rusted all the way through on all of it. It was just maybe 1 or 2 areas. So fiberglass should do the trick just to seal it off. Of course, we put the POR 15 on there before we did the fiberglass, so all of the metal that was bare, that was rusting, has all been sealed off with the POR. And this side wasn't even as bad as the other side, as you guys can see, much less fiberglassing. Same thing here, solid. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna go ahead and paint over this to kind of blend it in, and then let it dry and put the wheel wells back together. Just so you guys also know, there'll be an upcoming video. All these bushings here that are original or old will all be replaced. I ordered them last night. And then these upper control arms, as you guys can see, the rust has definitely gotten to them. So the subframe itself looks fine, as you guys can see, but the control arms, I might find some fresh control arms here and replace them and paint them with POR 15 so we don't keep rusting. This trailing arm is fine. I also ordered new dust shields for the brakes. So some of the old rust, some of the bad rust areas that are back here are either going to be replaced or corrected to prevent it from further rust. So we're definitely doing some work. It may not be 100% the proper way of doing it, of cutting out some of the old metal, but like I said, not all the metal is rotted. So really, this car for high miles, I don't know where this car lived prior to me, but it really isn't that bad. So anyways, when I get to work, we're gonna paint this, and then I'm gonna finish up some of this body work, get this ready for some primer, and smooth it out and paint this. So we have saved this quarter panel for sure, which is awesome. All right guys, so to finish off the undercarriage here, I just bought this undercarriage pro, whatever this is called, rubberized black stuff, just to prevent rust on all of the areas that aren't rusty. So that's what we're gonna spray it on, just kind of blend everything in together. All right guys, so update for you. We sanded down the original body filler, and then I put a nice glazing putty on this. It's not perfect, but once it settles, I'll let it dry probably another couple hours, maybe 24 hours, and then I'll sand this down, and then we'll do a sandable primer to try to blend it into the original paint. I'll sand back some of the paint, and then we'll repaint this area with some fresh clear, and hopefully it comes through to a decent level here. I didn't sand through the POR 15, so all of that rust prevention should prevent further rusting. Hopefully this stays pretty good for a long time to come. So we've got rid of the rust, we put the POR 15, and then we put some body filler in, and then we sprayed it with some rust prevention. So yeah, should be good. I'll keep you guys posted on this. Again, trying to save this thing, 260,000 miles. None of this is that bad. So if we can just slow the aging process down, we know we can get, you know, that many more years out of this car, because it's running really strong. So, and we drive the crap out of this thing. You know, 65,000 miles in 3 years. It's not a small amount of driving. So definitely get some use. And yeah, I think we saved this quarter panel, which is pretty cool. We can't drive around an old car with rust. It's not allowed. Come on now. All right guys, it is like day 3 or 4. I didn't film everything just because it's a little bit monotonous after a while, but if you guys look, I kind of did a quick repair job on the front bumper with all the scrapes, and I'm not finished with the painting, but we successfully fixed up this little patch area here. It's not that perfect right now, but like I said, I'm not done with it. I ran out of paint, but we're gonna end up sanding this down and blending it in a little bit better. But for now, at least, we don't have a rust hole any longer in this fender, and with the POR 15 it should stop rusting. I removed some of the dent on that bumper, which we'll fix up eventually as well, and over here everything's back together as well on this side. And of course undercarriage there is all sealed up, and in the next couple of weeks, actually prior to winter approaching here, I'm going to be doing the rear control arms. I ordered a fresh pair for both sides, lower and upper, since they're a little bit rusted, and I also ordered fresh brake shield dust shields here. If you guys look carefully there, they're all rusted and rotted. So I found a pair on eBay that's on its way, and prior to doing that job, I also purchased the bushing. So we're going to redo all of the bushings except for the rear trailing arms. We've done those with the PowerFlex upgrade, so that's already done. So all of that stuff's going to be replaced. All the bushings are going to be done. Dust shields are going to be done. Everything's going to get a fresh coat of POR 15 on it before I even install it to the car. It's all brand new, but I'm going to go ahead and POR it as well, 15, and make sure everything is solid. So rust wise, we're actually looking pretty good. I mean, listen, it's not perfect, but for the age of the car, 260,000 miles, it's pretty decent, and structurally speaking, it's very structurally sound, so nothing to worry about there. So that is the 260,000 mile update for you guys. This is 3 years, 65,000 miles, and I'm not done with this thing. We're gonna be doing some more work, like I said, before the winter time, because that's when we get a lot of the salt roads going again. So stay tuned for the next episode, guys. If you guys like this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.